Very happy to be joined here at the Combine by CBS senior NFL writer. Senior, put some respect on that name. Will Brinson. And Will, a year ago, you and I would be having a very different conversation than we will be having today, which is a good thing for the Browns.
It's unbelievable. I mean, like we were talking about this yesterday, Nathan, is like the Browns' expectations are through the roof this season, and they're not unrealistic either. Like the idea that the Browns would go 9-7 and make the playoffs as a wild card isn't the ceiling. It feels like the floor. And that's all because of Baker Mayfield, and it's all because of the bold move that John Dorsey made this time. This time last year, we weren't having a conversation about Baker at 1. Like he was like, oh, Baker's probably a first rounder. I don't know if he's going to be first overall. That seems like a stretch. Dorsey laid it on the table, and he went and got Baker, and it paid off for him in a big way because this guy has turned into not just a franchise quarterback, but a guy that has defined the attitude that the Browns that now pervades the Browns. And it's not a woe is us, we can't win, we're always first overall. It's no, we're going to go win this, and you believe him because he has that swagger.
Is in your time covering the NFL, I mean, I know that there are not many teams that have done what the Browns did 2 years ago,
sure,
which is a good thing.
Right.
But have you seen a team in 1 year go from that to kind of – there are a lot of people who think they're going to win the AFC North this season in just 1 year.
I think no, I've not. It's hard to imagine. I think maybe the Rams, and they weren't as bad as the Browns were. And the other thing too with the turnaround in Cleveland is that you had regime changes in terms of the GM. I mean, John Dorsey came in, and it's not just a switch in terms of like flipping a guy in charge. It's a wholesale different approach. And the Browns got lucky in the sense that the previous regime had built up a bunch of picks, and they got a guy in John Dorsey who knows how to use the picks. And he was also willing to trade some of those, the picks. You get the third-round pick for Landry, right? Like you go out and get guys who can make an impact as veteran players and help change the culture. But again, it all comes back to Baker. Like if you land the quarterback in the draft, it changes the dynamics of your franchise. Like I'm a neutral third party, right? But yes. I'm a Browns fan. And like I swear, like I've become a Browns fan because Baker Mayfield is maybe my favorite player in the NFL. Like that's how much of a difference he makes for this team.
What do you love about Baker so much?
He's dangerous. Like everything about him, like he doesn't care. Like he flaunts the conventions, the modern conventions of what we expect from a quarterback. And I think like it's probably a Peyton Manning type of thing because of the generational stuff, what we see from quarterbacks, and we want them to behave a certain way and act a certain way, and Baker doesn't do that.
Why do you think that is, though? Wouldn't I find, and I know that he's my guy, so I'm perhaps slightly biased, but I find it to be much more refreshing that a guy's going to actually tell you what he's thinking. Yes. When you interview somebody, I want to know what you're actually thinking and learn about you, and whether good, bad, indifferent, rather than canned responses that say nothing.
Well, and the other thing, too, like this is an entertainment league. Why would we want vanilla and I don't want tapioca pudding. I don't know what flavor I want, but I want
something exciting.
But like, I mean, look, Baker did the thing with Hugh Jackson on the sidelines, and that's to me, that's inappropriate. Whatever, dude. This is football. It's a game where you play to win, and it's entertainment. Like I want Baker out there doing finger gun salutes and like celebrating and chasing after his teammates. And the idea, when he scores a touchdown, the idea that we have to be buttoned up and professional. Get out of here. This is fun. It's entertainment.
Agreed. And I would even say a guy who is, I'm still Joe Montana, still, from my childhood,
sure,
still beats in my heart as perhaps the greatest of all time. But Tom Brady certainly would be considered that. And he and Gronk with those videos after, like, I love that. Give me more of that.
Right. And, like, that's the thing is that for so long, I don't know if it's maybe Peyton Manning's the best football example, but it was the Michael Jordan-ification of athletes, right? Like, Republicans buy sneakers too. You've got to be buttoned up and quiet and not show your personal side. I disagree. Like, I don't think you can do that in 2019 because there's too much of an opportunity for us to see these guys in their element. You can control your own brand with your social media and your Instagram. Of course,
that's the biggest thing.
And so you have to embrace who you are, and that's what Baker does best. Is he he's a is he Oklahoma or is he is he from Texas?
From Texas.
He's a Texas-born gunslinger who played quarterback in the Big 12, won the Heisman, gave no bleeps along the way, and continues to do that. And he shouldn't change who he is because he got a professional job in the NFL. Get out of here.
I do think you made an interesting point. Something we've talked about quite a bit is that the guys that are coming out now and kind of that young generation of guys in the NFL and even in the NBA, you see it as well. they can control their own brand. It's no longer, they don't need, in some cases we're the team, but they don't necessarily need the team to talk about their brand. They don't need the big networks to talk about their brand. They can give you that access into their brand. And I think for Baker, what you see is so authentic that he can be polarizing. There are going to be people who like it, people don't, but it's real.
Right. He's not like LeBron James is one of the 2 greatest basketball players of all time. But I think that a lot of what LeBron does is contrived because he is trying to, and I'm not knocking LeBron. I mean, like, but it's, you can tell that it's
subtweeting,
right. But it's like, it's all very like, and Tom Brady's that way too. Like even Tom Brady is very, if somebody tells you Tom Brady doesn't think about every single word he says, they're lying. Tom Brady thinks about that. I don't think Baker is as contrived. I think he's just sort of, I'm me, and I'm going to lay it out there, and I'm not worried about it. And like that can burn you if you're not good. Fortunately for Baker, he's very good. But I do think that like it's refreshing to get that honesty because it's easier to identify with it, right? Like because you don't feel like you're identifying with like a brand. You feel like you're identifying with Baker Mayfield, the person, right?
Yeah. And I think for Browns fans, I'm curious to get your perspective on it from a national standpoint. But one of the things that was so exciting for us when they named Freddie Kitchens the head coach is that Freddie is different, but is also very much an authentic, genuine, what you see is what you get kind of guy. And he and Baker have such a great relationship that I got to see when I was on the sideline with him that I couldn't have been happier with that. And I think you just that's starting to permeate our building.
Well, as someone who's from the South, I appreciate the idea that Freddie Kitchens is getting advancement life opportunities because I feel that like big, gruff Southern guys should always be given more opportunities. But I mean, like, I really do. Like, I think you get this sense of like Freddie Kitchens is like, I'm not going to change who I am because I got this job, and that's important. Like that is you didn't get to this position to be able to get the job because you changed. You got to this position because you are who you are, and you people buy into your authenticity and they buy into the person that you are. And I think that to change now that you got the job would be foolish. In the same way that Baker shouldn't, well, I'm here in the NFL. I guess I'm gonna, be a serious nerd. Like Freddie Kitchens shouldn't change who he is. He should continue to be the authentic, honest, open, hat tie combo wearing dude that he is.
Sometimes quarter zip, no shirt underneath it. You never know what he's gonna pull out.
But you know what? But it fits it. And I think ownership has done a good job, too, with the Browns in terms of, I think a lot of times in previous years, they've maybe gotten a little handsy. They've done a good job in letting John Dorsey build this team and this front office and this coaching staff out in his image. John Dorsey walks around in the like he has
an outfit,
but it's like he's like somehow made this like casual sweatshirt gear his brand. Like it's unbelievable. Like Cleveland fans wear it, and I think that's important that you have that everybody's in line and that it is the refreshing honesty all across the board.
Yeah, on the same page and moving forward. Let's talk quickly. Let's go around the AFC North because one of the reasons that people are optimistic about the Browns, it's not just what they're doing, which is good. But the rest of the AFC North, they're
collapsing inside of itself.
What's going on? And we'll start with the Steelers. That's a team. You always thought you're getting ready for the Steelers. Ben, Bell, and Antonio Brown. Ben.
Right.
Different.
They're gone. I mean, look, Juju Smith-Schuster is unbelievable talent. And by the way, like, how young is he? I mean,
he's a stud. I love that guy.
He's like 18 years old, and he just put up like a 1,400. He's really 22, but whatever. It is. Antonio Brown is all but gone. Now, Kevin Colbert's opened up the idea that he might stay. I mean, it's not happening.
I don't know if Antonio Brown has slammed that idea closed.
But on the other hand, like if they say, hey, Antonio, we're not trading you.
Like, what's he going to do?
Right, he has to show up if he wants to get paid or not get fined, I mean, so I think at the end of the day, like, he's going to get dealt. It's not.
Where do you think he goes?
I think that he goes to the Seahawks or the Eagles.
Okay.
Somewhere spicy.
My dad wants the 49ers. I'm from the Bay Area.
49ers could happen.
Yeah,
certainly could
absolutely.
happen. So I think we got a guy in a Steely Dan t-shirt telling us to hurry up. Greatest American rock band of all time, by the way, Steely Dan. I've seen them 5 times. Love Steely Dan. Oh, yeah. So anyway, with Antonio Brown, I think he ends up going somewhere in the NFC West or the Eagles. I think you're going to see an NFC team willing to make the splash.
Yeah.
And I think it maybe involves like I could see the Seahawks giving up. I did a piece for CBSSports.com. But like Seahawks give up a first-round pick and a 4th-round pick for Antonio Brown and a 3rd-round pick. Who says no?
Nobody.
Make it happen.
Yeah.
Make it happen.
Russell Wilson would be like, sweet, thanks.
And then you open up the offense a little bit, and the Seahawks can become a more dynamic team. Bell obviously going to land somewhere like the Jets, maybe the 49ers if they have cap space, maybe the Raiders. We'll see. But yeah, the Steelers are not the. I mean, people aren't. Ben's still there, so people aren't burying them yet. But this is a dramatic shift, Nathan, in terms of like where this franchise is supposed to be going. And at some point, it's not like the last time the Steelers had a top 10 pick was in 2000 when they took Plaxico Burress. And I'm not saying they're going there right now.
Right.
But when Ben goes away, what do you have? Because the defense isn't great. You have Juju, and that's fantastic, and James Conner looks good, and the offensive line is talented, but it's getting older too. I mean, like, there's signs of erosion here, and the Steelers have to combat that, and I'm not sure how they're doing it.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting, and I will see what Lamar Jackson, how in a second year with a lot more tape on him, and I don't know what they're doing with their receiving core in Baltimore right now, but obviously a good defensive team.
They're just going to run the ball 900 times.
It's, it's certainly what it seems like, but I don't know that you can do that and win in the NFL.
Yeah. Lamar Jackson took – and look, who's their backup? Because Lamar Jackson took a ton of hits last year. He was constantly
right now it's a RG3.
Right.
Former Brown.
I know, but I mean, like, you have to have a plan B. Because like if Lamar Jackson's not going to play 16 games doing what they did, running the way that they did. I mean, he was taking shots where – and you could tell it was like an RG3 type thing. Like, by the way, let's get Lamar Jackson a better slide coach.
Yeah.
Because RG3 not a good slider.
No, that was not his strength.
I think I love RG3, but how do you get to be 30 years old and not know how to slide?
It's a good question.
Like I'm like a 5'8", like squatty, like.
And you have a beautiful slide?
I got a great slide, right? Like, just go practice baseball for a month.
I bet you have a great hook slide.
Great pop slide.
Yeah. Oh, the pop slide. That was the key.
It's easy when you're short. You can pop slide.
Just get right up there. Well, it is a pleasure. Looking forward to seeing how the season plays out and having you on CBD as we get ready for what should be the most exciting Browns season in a long, long time.
It's a dangerous season, Nathan.
Let's go. It's going to be dangerous. All right. We'll be back with more right after this.